Hello, I'm Second Soundwave, and today's review is of the Master Grade Build Strike Gundam. This kit came out in 2014 and was the first MG to be released from the Build Fighters series, with a retail price of 4,200 yen. The front of the box features an incredible illustration of the Build Strike in a duel with the Zaku Amazing. Sadly, there is no official kit of said Zaku, despite it being featured so prominently on the front of the box. But the Build Strike itself looks awesome. The attention to detail is great, with sparks and lightning arcing off of the clashing beam weapons. The bottom of the box shows off some front and back shots of the fully painted kit, and a brief demonstration of the build booster. The bottom of the box talks about the different gun attachments, some of which are exclusive to this kit. There's also a series of images that demonstrate the mobility of the Seed Remaster frame, and if the Blitz is anything to go by, this kit is gonna be epic. Being a Master Grade, this kit has a lot of runners. There's a multicolored A runner from the Ale Strike, a white B runner shared by all the Seed Remaster kits, a red C runner, and a gray ABS D runner that are also reused. E and F are also frame runners used for all the Seed kits. The red H2, gray L, and ABS M runners are all from the Ale Strike, and the multicolored N runner is the first all-new runner to be found. White runners O1 and O2 are also new, as are frame runners P, Q1, and Q2. Blue runners R1 and R2 hold the parts for the booster, and the last of the new runners are the red S1 and S2 runners, and the white T runner. But we are not done yet. There's also a generic flight stand included, a couple beam effects, and the all-important polycap runner. There's also a small sheet of foil stickers and some marking stickers. No dry transfer decals though. The manual is the typical MG affair, box art on the front, painted kit on the back. First couple pages talk in depth about the weapons and abilities of the Gundam, and there's a full color spread in the center of the manual with story info, painting guide, and some more poses. Last page is dedicated to a marking guide. Build Strike is one of many MGs to use the Seed Remaster frame, and that alone says a lot about it. The build is fun, the proportions are great, and it's just different enough to not feel redundant if you've already built another Seed kit. The detailing is superb, with even the tiny components like the Vulcans being colored incorrectly. Another standard to be expected of the remaster frame is excellent articulation. Nothing in the upper body feels hindered at all. The hips even include a swing down mechanism to increase mobility even further. And the usual shifting knee armor is present as well. There's plenty of movement in the feet too. Overall, there's nothing lacking in the articulation department on this kit. Now let's take a look at the accessories. The most important is the transforming backpack of the Build Strike, the Build Booster. The MG Build Booster is leaps and bounds better than the HG, with everything molded in the correct colors. There's a complex series of joints in the guns and wings, so you can pretty much just do whatever you like with them. Only limitations are the stops under the wings that keep them from drooping down in flight mode. The transformation is pretty straightforward. The booster just slots into the Gundam's back. Once the railguns are under the arms, the Build Strike we all know takes shape. From here you can fold out the handles and pose the strike in its full burst mode. A basic stand is included for such purposes, and it slots into the booster like so. Next up is the shield. It might be low on sculpted detail, but it makes up for it with great color separation all around. The yellow bits in the front can also open up for no apparent reason. There's also a couple hinges on the back that allow it to mount on the arm in different ways. The core of the Build Strike's firepower is in its beam pistol. It looks fantastic, but it doesn't slot into the hand very well. Fortunately, the thumb does a good enough job of holding it in place. The first expansion for the pistol is a rifle barrel. When you're not using it, it stores under the shield. Otherwise, it attaches to the pistol to form a beam rifle, and a very cool one at that. The other extender is this beam cannon part. There's tons of detail, but it kinda gets lost in the sea of white. It too can be mounted on the shield, or attached to the pistol. Finally, there's a pair of beam sabers stored on the hips. They peg on the hips fine, but they're super loose in the hands. Speaking of, the Build Strike uses the wing type hands where you swap out the fingers. Included are the fingers for the fists, open hands, both weapon holding hands, basically what you'd expect. They attach okay, but not as solidly as the Blitz. There's also an adapter for using the Strike with a normal action base, and another that lets you mount the booster on other MGs. You can also mount another striker pack behind the build booster if you so desire. Finally, a tiny standing figurine of Sei is included, as well as one sitting in the cockpit. Speaking of, I don't really like the cockpit. It's really fiddly and overcomplicated. There's also a little Kira left over if that matters to you. I spent a very long time looking for this kit. It's been out of print for most of this year, and I finally tracked one down at a local shop. And it was worth it. The elements carried over from the other RM kits are great, and so are the new parts. I only wish that the holding hands were more secure. Other than that, the Build Strike is an excellent kit that I strongly recommend. As usual, this has been Second Soundwave, and I will see you next time.